Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a lovely box from Quartet, the Spanish film music specialty label. Well, they've got marvelous stuff. And here we have John Barry, the Polydor years, a 3 CD set containing a selection of like all kinds of stuff that he did from 1972 to 1976. Remastered, 3 CDs. Short playing times because they're the original CDs back in the days when they were just like LPs. Remember those? But it really nicely packaged in a sturdy box here with 3 like lovely original looking discs. You can get them out. They're really nice. It's like, oh, no, they come out easily. And a lavish booklet with Mr. Barry himself. He was such a nice guy. I knew him towards the end of his life when he wrote some concert music that was quite enjoyable, and he was extremely pleasant. These are 3 landmark albums, and you get wonderful notes. Really, like, very cool. So I'm, like, kind of impressed by this whole production here. It's a class act. So the albums are, first, The Concert, John Barry. This may be the most interesting one. You know, Barry was a composer of extraordinary gifts and vast range, who was so famous because of his scoring of the James Bond movies that we tend to forget a lot of his other work and just how good it was. So this is a wonderful collection that gives you the James Bond suite, 17 minutes of juicy bits from Goldfinger, the James Bond theme, from Russia with Love, Thunderbolt, let's see, 007, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, things like that. And then we've got Born Free. Remember Born Free? Born Free. I can't sing it. I'll get a copyright strike. God forbid. And that's probably a relief to the rest of you who don't want to hear me do my Andy Williams impression or whoever it was who sang it. I think that's who it was. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Midnight Cowboy. Oh, what a great score that was. A great movie. Mary, Queen of Scots. The Lion in Winter. Only 3 minutes and 58 seconds. That's one of my all-time favorite film scores. And The Adventurer. So 43 minutes and 6 seconds of John Barry with a really wide range of stuff. Then we've got Play It Again. Themes from stage, screen, and television. There's some great stuff in here, too. Sail the Summer Winds from the film The Dove. Walkabout. Remember Walkabout? Remember that one? The Tamarind Seed. Let's see. The stage musical Billy. Okay. Monty Walsh. Lolita, My Love. It's another stage musical. Orson Welles Mysteries. Well, for the TV series. Look at that. Love Among the Ruins. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Okay. Mary, Queen of Scots. Boom. From the film Boom. Yeah. The Glass Menagerie. And then they have bonus tracks. The TV series The Adventurer. The film Follow Me. Diamonds Are Forever. A Doll's House. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. We already talked about The Whisperers. The Whisper. There's that one. And then we have a shortish disc. It's 35 minutes or so, but still, The Americans. The major item here is the Yesternight Suite. 7 minutes and 51 seconds of extraordinarily attractive incidental music. Downtown Walker. Scorpio. Remember Scorpio? Yeah, Scorpio. Social Swing. Strip Drive. And Speaking Mirrors. So that's those things. That's the 3 discs. And if you are a film music collector and, you know, you are just getting into John Barry, or perhaps you missed the original issues of these things, which were out of print for like a long period of time, this is a wonderful and appropriately loving way to get this music. You know, of course, it's always wonderful to have complete film scores, but back in the day, quite often, all you got were, you know, suites and little excerpts from the various films. And that's okay, too. I mean, it gives you a taste and it lets you know what to collect in your future life. But the nicest thing about this label, Quartet generally, is that they do such loving and careful restoration work and packaging and presentation. You know, I remain convinced And we've had this conversation before, and I'm in agreement with those of you who feel this way too, obviously. But I mean, I think that much of the great orchestral music, the great classical music of the 20th century is going to come from composers who wrote for films. And that's going to cause us to have to reevaluate, there we go, our concept of what makes a great composer up to a certain point, and what constitutes their distinctive voice, and what instruments and ensembles qualify as deserving of inclusion in the classical pantheon. And all of those things raises all kinds of interesting issues. But at bottom, all of this is incidental music. Music for the theater, music for the stage, music for the screen. It's all the same category. It's just like Peer Gynt or Sibelius's Pelléas and Melisande, or Mendelssohn's Midsummer Night's Dream, or Beethoven's Egmont. I mean, this is all the same thing. And the composers who specialized in writing for film had to have an extraordinary balance of qualities. They had to have individuality on the one hand, but chameleon-like ability to write in a million different styles, and the ability to capture mood and atmosphere in very short segments and snippets. And this music is all out there. It's this giant inchoate mass that needs to be somehow made sense of and gathered together and included in the wonderful world of classical music, because one of the definitions of classical music is music of unabashed greatness, which is eternally valid and deserves to be played regularly and will always create the right sense of expressive validity to generations and generations and generations and generations. And we see that happening today with a lot of the most famous film scores. I mean, we really do see that happening. And it's going to continue to happen. And labels like this, who release albums like this, are part of the process. And when you listen to it, you become part of the process. So I think this John Barry Polydor Years collection is marvelous. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.